Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I went a little heavier on the eyes than I had planned, but today we're going to be walking really just through the base. We're going to be talking through my summer-proof, sweat-proof, long-wear, oil-proof makeup routine, and that's going to be how to achieve the base. This is a super easy eye look that's just some smoked out liner and a wing because that's really all I wanted to do today. And we're really in the tutorial just going to focus on complexion. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe because I do upload every other day and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see how we achieved all of this minus the eyes, stay tuned. Alright, so first things first, you want your makeup to last all day long, especially the skin. Priming is the most important. I'm going to start with the When Life Gives You Lemons Tetra Selmisoetica. I never know what to call it, but it is an oil and pore controlling primer. I am going to concentrate this on my T-zone, and it's a very lightweight gel consistency, so it doesn't feel super heavy. So I'm going to put this down. And then whatever's left, I will obviously feather everywhere else. But most of it is concentrated in this area of the face. And that's going to help to keep everything long wearing and matte all day long. And then I'm going to take the One Size Secure the Blur Makeup Magnet Primer for blurring. And I'm going to take a tiny bit of that, specifically targeting the nose and cheek, which is where I have the most pores and texture. And once that's in, whatever's left on my fingers, I will just feather everywhere else. The reason I'm going in with something mattifying is it's going to help to control oil throughout the day, but because a lot of times our skin overproduces oil because of the fact that our skin is feeling dry or dehydrated, I am going to, instead of using a full-on foundation, I will be using a tinted moisturizer. I have mentioned this one probably millions of times at this point. Beauty For Real MVP. It is a primer, SPF, tinted moisturizer that you can actually build to medium-ish coverage with a full coverage concealer in the cap. That's going to be my complexion today. I am going to be taking it on, this is the Real Techniques 212 complexion brush. It is a palm brush. And I'm going to take a decent amount on here. It's going to look like a lot and it's going to look too dark for me. Trust me, once you brighten with the concealer, it is perfect. But I am going to apply this. Actually, that doesn't look too bright at all. And then we're just going to small circular motions, blend that over the skin. Now I did shear it out a little bit. It is not at like full coverage, or actually it's barely at medium. I'm going to take a tiny bit more and just apply it to the cheeks and the nose. That's the typical place where I find I want a little extra coverage. And switching over to a sponge, this is the Real Techniques Face and Body. I am just going to lightly press that in. And once I feel like I have the coverage where I want it, I will take the sponge over everywhere else. That's just going to pick up any product that I don't want and just press everything into the skin. Grabbing a brush that I actually use to prime my eyes most of the time, I'm going to take a little bit of the concealer and really just press it into the under eye. Now it looks super bright because it kind of is. But once we blend it out, it won't be quite as bright. And I'll be using that same sponge just to press it in. Now, you know, lately I have not been a huge fan of full coverage, so I'm going to take the Jouer Super Sheer. It is the Super Soft Focus, actually Soft Focus Hydrate and Set Powder in the shade Light. I'm going to take that on this little brush right here and set down the under eye and forehead. Then with the big brush and the same powder, just going to set everywhere else. What I like about this is that there's like little to no coverage here. Basically, all it's doing is pressing into the liquid to set it down. And you will notice like there's barely any coverage there, but it's just enough to kind of blur everything together so that you really don't see where the concealer and foundation start and finish, and everything just feels more put together. And then going into a full coverage pressed powder. This is from One Size. This is the Turn Up the Base Versatile Powder Foundation in Light 1R. I'm going to take that on the fluffy brush and really just concentrate this in a very, like, wide stroke buffing. I'm not trying to build this to full coverage, but I am trying to use this to add a little bit more coverage to the places where I really want it, which is typically down here, and then I will take a tiny bit over the cheeks, because like I said, that's the area where I really want the coverage. Now I'm not baking, I am skipping pressed powder, but what I like to do at this point is go in with the first hit of my setting spray. This is the Skindinavia Makeup Finishing Spray. I'm going to mist this all over. With the flat of my sponge, I'm just going to press that into the powder so that everything feels nice and smooth. And then at this point, I like to let the complexion really just sit to kind of soak into the powder, let that spray press everything into the skin and just do its thing. While I do that and I let that happen, I'm going to go throw on a quick eye and my brows, and I'll be right back for the next step. So I originally thought I was going to do something like super lightweight and summery, and next thing I know, I have this like super grungy smoky eye. So super easy. I just smoked out some black liner, added a tiny bit of warmth to the crease, and then just kept going until it got like grungy and smoky. The key to a good smoky eye is perfectly imperfect. I will link a video that I did a while back on how to do a smoky eye, because it's meant to look like done but undone, very grungy, very 90s. So now that that's done, we can go back to the complexion. Starting with a blush, a bronzer. I'm going to be taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium Deep. I like it because it is the perfect amount of warm and cool. So I'm going to take that on the smaller side of that same Farrah brush I used earlier and really just concentrate that in and around the temples. And then down the cheek and up the hairline. This is just going to start sculpting the warmth to the face. That is going to be like the key to summertime glam. And once that's set down on the big brush, we're just going to blend out the edges and then take that down the jawline and neck just to add a little bit more of that warmth. And see how this side just has this warm sun-kissed glow, and this side is still looking flat and pale. So we're going to do the same thing on this side, nice and easy. Smaller brush concentrated in and around the temples in small circular motions. And then with the big brush, blend it out. Now that we're sculpted, we can blush. I'm going to go in with the Buxom Wanderlust Blush. I like this one because it is very pigmented and it's a little bit deeper. So I'm going to take that, and I'm really only tapping in once because this blush is very pigmented. You don't need a lot. And I'm going to concentrate that over where that over where the bronzer went, just to add a little bit of warmth to the cheek. Back to the bronzer brush, just to blend that out. By blending your blush out with your bronzer brush, and then going back into your blush brush and patting it up, and then I'll add my highlighter and then blend with this brush and then back to the highlighter. By blending in stages like that, it shows all the products glowing through each other, so that rather than the blush sitting on top of the bronzer, sitting on top of the highlight, it's all kind of melted together. I'm going to take the Glam Light Michaela highlight. It's the same one I used on the inner corner today. And I'm just going to hit that on the cheeks. I'm going in with a little more than I think I need, because I am going to blend it under the blush. And don't forget to hit up the brow bone. It's going to look a little frosty at first, which is why we go back into the blush brush, just to diffuse it. And that's going to give us that like glass skin glowing cheek without it looking like we've got a stripe of highlighter on. And just like before, then we blend it out with the bronzer brush, then back to the blush brush with whatever's left on the highlight just to bring it back. And that's going to have everything look a little bit more put together. Now, this is definitely looking a little weird because there's no lip, but this is one of those, you know, anytime you have a smoky eye, I usually tell people it is a trust the process kind of look, because until it is all done, everything kind of looks out of whack. So I'm going to throw on a nude lip. I know you guys are going to be getting bored of seeing this combo, but it is my go-to summer combo. It is the Crush Lip Liner from Dominique Cosmetics with the Rare Beauty Neutrally Neutral lip balm. So I'm going to throw that on. And a final hit of setting spray. And that's the finished look. So the eyes are a little more glam than I had wanted, but night or day, this is still my go-to complexion and base routine for a long-wearing, summer-friendly, oil-free makeup routine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know down below, as well as some of your tips and tricks for long-wearing summer makeup, and maybe something you learned today that you enjoyed. Thank you again, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!